It's a slow-moving tremor shaking families loose from the farm some have tended for generations. The farm crisis gripping America can have no tighter stronghold than right here in a state where agriculture is its largest industry. But after this year, many family farms will no longer exist. Tonight, Diana Davis has an in-depth look at why, what got us here, and how it will affect everyone beyond the dirt and backroads of Region 8.
All this was woods at one time, and Grandpa cleared it.
Shannon Hall's earliest memories are here in the fields of Poinsett County. It's where he learned to farm.
We've traced it back to where I'm the 11th generation, which goes back to the Revolutionary War.
A family deeply rooted in rice country.
That right there is my grandpa in Stuttgart. All of them are his brothers, except for this guy. My great-grandpa went through the Great Depression.
Hard times known all too well, but this year, well, it was different.
Now it's none of us with the last name Hall anyway.
After losses for 2 straight years.
Once there's no equity left in your equipment, and the bank can see that, you know, I mean, they've got to make money too, and they know that the only other option is, you know, to sell you out.
And sell they did. Every single piece of farm equipment owned by this multi-generational farming family over decades gone. And the Halls are not alone. According to the U.S. Bankruptcy Court Eastern Districts of Arkansas, the number of farm bankruptcies are up. Figures are climbing for 2025, and the year is not over. Chapter 12 allows farmers debt reorganization when they are financially distressed. Those numbers are climbing fast.
Filed more Chapter 12s in the last 6 months than I have in any full year.
The hardest year that any of us can remember.
But why? Some people liken it to a perfect storm. Most all of it out of farmers' control. Farm production inputs climbed significantly over the last 4 years. Seed costs up 18%, fuel and oil up 32%, fertilizer up 37%, and interest expenses up 73%. Figure in labor costs up 47% since 2020. Farmers are struggling to break even. Most this year will harvest their crops at a loss, but still be expected to make payments on equipment.
That combine there is 3 years old, and it's going to have major repairs. And I still owe $200,000.
Joe Christian farms 3,000 acres with his 2 sons. He says market prices have not kept pace with inflation.
Our rice, I got a price from a rice buyer for this year's crop, and it's below $5. My dad was getting $5 back in '79 and '80. Anybody can imagine how do you live on, if you had to take your salary from '79 and live on the cost of living today? We can't do it.
That's why so many farmers from Region 8 sounded the alarm back in early September.
And I've never been as worried as I am now.
The setup for farm setbacks rolled in with bad weather in the spring. Some had to plant twice because of flooding. University of Arkansas data says $78 million worth of crops were destroyed. Some farmers had just weathered losses the year before. All of this reminding many of the crisis in the 1980s when interest rates were high, crops burned up, farms failed, and small towns dried up.
I would say it probably is worse than the 80s, and the simple reason is there are fewer farmers to spread that risk out over. And I think the conditions are worse.
Congressman Rick Crawford is proposing this bill to help farmers. It's called the Bridge the Gap for Rural Communities Act in the U.S. House of Representatives. Farmers were set to receive some help through President Trump's big, beautiful bill. But that help won't arrive until fall of 2026. Too late for many farmers to hang on.
If something doesn't happen, then I think that we're watching the death of the family farm.
Crawford's bill gives farmers the option to receive 50% of the safety net payment they would receive next fall by the end of this year. But the clock is ticking. There's no guarantee it will be passed.
It doesn't have anything to do with the shutdown. This is just the nature of moving legislation.
When the dust settles on harvest this year, it is anticipated that even more farmers will be facing those difficult decisions. If they put their equipment up as collateral for this last loan, they won't be able to use it again. If they don't have something else to use for a loan next year, they're done. Why? Because they've raised this year's crops at a loss. Take a look at these numbers. Staggering per acre losses for every crop. Let's say a farmer has 1,000 acres to farm. Here's how that stacks up. Nowhere close to breaking even. Tariffs and trade wars have hit hard. China hadn't bought any soybeans until President Trump met with President Xi Jinping in October. China agreed to purchase 12 million metric tons of soybeans over the next 2 months and at least 25 million metric tons for the next 3 years. They had been buying exclusively from Brazil and Argentina, even though American soybeans were cheaper. And you'll remember President Trump gave $20 billion in financial aid to Argentina to prevent its economy from collapsing.
I'm not happy with that at all. I don't think we should be doing that.
So where is the allegiance to the American farmer, as questioned in the meeting by farmers in Brooklyn?
Mr. Trump, I need to see the fruit of your love.
What about that loyalty? American dollars headed to a country in direct competition with farmers here. Not just that, but China is even building ports and railway systems to help get Argentinian crops out to be exported.
And China has just jumped on the bandwagon and really upped the ante. So we're seeing in places like Brazil and Argentina and Peru, enhanced investment from China to include ports and rail.
Meanwhile, farmers here are bracing for what will happen next. Losses piling up.
But there's nothing happening fast enough to put the brakes on and stop the train before there's a train wreck.
Eddie Martin, a business owner and market analyst, says the loss of farming affects us all.
Let's say the direct economic impact in Craighead County is $500 million. Say, just in Craighead County. And if we lose that, that's about 25% of our economy.
Martin says emergency help is needed fast for farmers to stay afloat. He believes we should leverage our role in NATO
and require those countries to buy their imports from us if we have them available for sale.
As a collective, they're very difficult to deal with. We can have better results dealing with an individual nation like the UK.
And when farms fail, there are people waiting in the wings to buy. Corporate investors. Bill Gates owns 47,000 acres in Arkansas. The Gates family owns 242,000 acres across the U.S. Investors are ready to buy up land because they see it as a hedge against inflation. Vice President J.D. Vance once owned stock in Fayetteville-based Acre Trader, a business that lets investors buy fractional shares of farmland. People can invest online. Meanwhile, back in Region 8,
It's like you lose your identity.
hard times are not new, but being on the other side of farming is. Hall now works for a seed company. He says he's less stressed.
The Lord blessed me and led me to this job.
But the memories, they hit hard.
The worst was me seeing the tractor that I grew up driving as a kid leave the farm.
It was his grandfather's, and there was no way to get it back. The bank owned it, and they sold it.
My main priority was to get that tractor back, but I knew there was no way I could do it, and I had to let it go.
How many other farmers like Hall will travel this road to the end of the line? The last harvest, the last of a generation.
It's family land. It's their blood.
Gone forever.
I want fair trade. I want them to open up their country and let me sell my crop.
Food security is national security.
It's time for our friends to help us help them.
Diana Davis, K8 News. Live, local, now.
Want to see change? Talk with your lawmakers. Write, call, or text them. Congressman Crawford serves on the House Committee on Agriculture. Also, for those who are dealing with the tough issues surrounding the loss of a family farm or just day-to-day life on the farm during these trying times, there is an event for you. It's called The Heart of a Farmer, presented by the Community Health Education Foundation, Farm Credit Mid-America, and the University of Arkansas Division of Agriculture. There will be medical screenings, mental health checks, and farm safety sessions from 9 a.m. until 1:30 p.m. at the Northeast Arkansas Rice Research and Extension Center in Harrisburg.